And we can work with the Hilltop. Maggie hammered out a deal, but they're not just giving it away. These saviors, they almost killed Sasha, Daryl, and Abraham on the road. Now, sooner or later, they would have found us. They would have killed someone, or some of us. And then they would try to own us. And we would try to stop them. But by then, in that kind of fight, low on food, we could lose. This is the only way to be sure, as sure as we can get that we win. We do this for the Hilltop. It's how we keep this place. It's how we feed this place. This needs to be a group decision. If anybody objects, here's your chance to say your piece.
What happened here?
We won't let that happen again. I won't.
It looks like it's settled. We know exactly what this is. We don't shy from it. We live. We kill them all. We don't all have to kill. But people are gonna stay here. They do have to accept it.
Fuck, dude, this show, man, every week it delivers and delivers and delivers and delivers. It's like the Octomom, man. It just keeps delivering.
It just brings on the zombies and the drama. This one is more about the people.
Yep,
Fear
which is
the
what I
people.
want. Yeah, I want the people. We've had zombies. We had 6 seasons of zombies. Time to get into the world.
Yeah, the new world.
The new world.
All right, well, let's start off with, we keep asking what happened to Carol. Well, we find out. Carol, it's the Carol episode, as I'm calling it.
Carol's back and you're gonna be in trouble. Hey,
You're like,
nah.
I feel safer seeing her.
Oh, yeah. Just
I feel
immediately.
my-
You're like, okay, now I know that if anybody comes to fuck with us, well,
We got
Carol's
Carol.
going to take care of them.
So
So it
Carol's
doesn't
out there
matter.
grabbing acorns and,
Yeah, she's making
shopping for
cookies.
arrowroot and making cookies and passing them out to everybody. Like, I don't know if I
She's
want to eat
even
her
giving
cookies.
cookies to the dead kid, man. Or she's like, sorry, I killed you. Bye.
I'm telling you. Here's your cookie, you little bitch.
Yep.
But the thing is that, like, it was funny. I made a joke earlier about it. Like, when she's giving cookies to everybody, she gives it one guy, which obviously there's going to be some interest in that, which was totally foreshadowing.
Well, when she started calling him the asshole and all that, it's like, oh, she's going to hook up with him now. I see
Yeah.
what's happening.
And he said, do you like the cookie? Well, if you're bearing a knife and gun, I'm going to like your acorn beet cookie.
You
It's
got
gonna
the
be
best fucking cookies on the planet, bitch. Go
we
ahead,
can have
yeah.
more.
Yeah, these finger looking good. What'd you say these were? The pork and peanut butter? Yeah, so
Yes.
good, man. So good.
Your salt cookies are the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the whole point of this episode is they're going to deal with Negan's group. So
Well, yeah, eventually. I mean, they obviously, you knew that they were going to head into it from last week's show.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to kind of put everything together, get the group split up and everything. Now, wait a second. When we're really quick on this, when Carol at the beginning, we kind of glazed right over it. She's out there, like you said, picking acorns and getting everything, beets together, getting everything ready to make her cookies. When the Zilf shows up. Kind of zombie cougar, right? Comes out of the thing. Now, tell me, I don't care how many days she's been dead, that nightgown really held up well against the apocalypse.
You thought she was a Zilf, really?
Yeah, she was a Zilf, man. She was out there in a little nightie and everything. She would have
I
been
think
hot in the club. Come on.
She seemed like a slut to me, man. I don't think
What do you think a Zilf is? I mean, my God, man. Yeah, she was...
I expect more out of my zombie women, and she should put some more
no,
clothes on. And
Once you're dead, you don't put any more clothes on. That's just the reality. But I'm just amazed that that thing wasn't torn up. It wasn't, like, literally, it should have been ripped off of her by this point.
well,
right?
are you thinking this person was a zombie from the very beginning?
No, not
or
at
does
all.
it-
But she
yeah.
at least was dead for, I'd say, maybe a week or two, maybe 2 weeks, at most, because you could see her skin had kind of gone pale and the eye was coming out. Her face was a little torn up. So she was at least through enough trauma that gown was way too attached. Not that I'm saying I want to see zombie titties on the show, but I'm just saying.
And now you said it's going to happen. Maybe not on The Walking Dead. It may be in a movie, but
Yeah, it'll be on Fear of the Walking Dead. They'll be like, we need to save them. Quick, give them zombie titties. That'll save the show.
on a boat. Put them on the boat. Have her dancing. Have the zombie dancing on the boat. There you go. All right.
Now,
Well,
I liked Morgan and Carol kind of working out their own issues, where they're like, look, we don't want to bring Rick and everybody into it. There's no reason, like how she was going to say, just a little conversation they had. And for even a moment, I was like, no, Carol and Morgan, they're not going to hook up, are they? No, she was going for the asshole.
no, she's definitely Morgan's character is, to me, is starting to. I'm not happy with his performance so far. I mean,
No, I love the acting. I just don't like the writing.
yeah, it's just not doing anything for me as far as his character.
I'm a huge fan of Lenny James, so he'd have to do something completely horrible for me to dislike him. But I agree with you that I don't think he's living up to the potential that character has.
Yeah, and then they built him up for freaking 5 seasons.
Yep.
5 seasons they built him up. Yeah, he was in a couple episodes here and there, just sprinkle him in there. But you expected a lot more. You expected maybe some tension with him and Rick this season, but
would have liked to have seen that. Yes, as a matter of fact, this part of the season is when it would have been perfect. Like they literally could have had this whole episode be the tension of the town, like how you had Tara. She's like, shit, I've already been through this. I didn't like doing it the last time. Like you could see her in the church. She was remembering the assault on the prison. You could see it in her face. Mm-hmm. And she's not cool with this. To be the aggressor, you need a reason to fight. And when they're fighting for survival, well, that's a good reason. That's, self-preservation. There's no better reason to fight in the world. But when it comes down to where they're like, no, this is how we're going to eat, well, that changes things, So I understand where she's coming from.
I just don't like the fact that they have no idea what they're really dealing with. They're big-headed, but I guess they're so used to dealing with assholes such as Woodbury and Terminus, and even the Wolves that you mentioned last week.
Yep.
Is that they're used to just taking care of the problem. Mm-hmm. You get a little too confident. It's kind of just like the best way to describe it, and maybe old date information, but it's like Mike Tyson.
Yep.
He's so used to knocking people out in the first round, no problem.
He didn't see Buster Douglas even coming.
Yeah, he wasn't training well. He just got comfortable.
Yep.
And he got his ass handed to him.
Yep. Here, is this your ass? I picked it up. Here, you can have it now.
Exactly. So, are they heading that direction? Possibly, but just the fact that they knew what they're dealing with when they came with the Woodbury.
Yep.
They had an idea when they dealt with the situation with Terminus because they had help. Carol came say today, but maybe a little bit different situation. They were kind of got caught up in that little trap there, but they dealt with the Wolves the same way. They found out and they dealt with it. They came and attacked and they took them out.
Yep.
Pretty much.
What I want to see is how do they get Carol and Maggie. I want to see them show that part of the story, because that couldn't have been just walk up and take them. They had to be very tactical in order to get.
They get a jump on them.
They had to. Now, of course, you did have Maggie and Carol bitching about you shouldn't be here. You're supposed to be a different person. First of all, Carol needs to drop her judgmental shit. I understand where she's coming from, but this isn't her business. And she should have just been like, look, I understand. I'm out of it. You guys do what you need to do. Just don't jeopardize the group. But as far as Maggie's baby, that's nobody's business but Maggie. Let her do her things her way.
Yeah, and here's the thing. It's not that she's walking around like 8 months pregnant. She's in the first trimester. She can handle shit for a bit.
Exactly.
Right?
She's not like Rick's wife at the beginning of season 3.
She was the same with the whole pregnancy. She didn't do shit but complain.
Yeah, she didn't do, even before the pregnancy, she was complaining. So
she was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, she was always a pain in the ass. So, but whereas Maggie's not, Maggie's always pleasant. And I think that she really took an issue with Carol. I think there's going to be a little tension between her and Carol in the future, if they survive the Saviors. We'll see. We're going to see. We're going to see how it works out. Now, I did like the fact that Carol couldn't sleep at night. She is such a scary bitch that she even gives herself nightmares.
I think she's practicing, so that's what it is. She tries it on her. If it makes me scared, it's going to scare other people.
I'm going to scare the crap out of a kid with this thing, But she was so freaked out. She was up playing psychotic Sudoku or whatever it was at the middle of the night. I don't know what all that stuff was.
What?
You didn't see that where she was doing the drawings and writing the numbers? I thought it was like psychotic.
Oh yeah. Was that the body count the people she killed?
I think that's what it was. I have no idea what it really was.
Yeah, which is fine. Go ahead, keep that track. Keep it. But going back to the town meeting, was that really necessary? I mean, did Rick really need everybody's approval or?
Well, I think it was bigger than that. I just don't think that he wanted them to feel like he was forcing them into a decision. Even though it was kind of like, look, unless you got a better option, because you saw Morgan protested, and Rick wasn't having any of it. So you're right. He didn't really need the meeting. You know, but I'm still going back to Carol, though. I love Carol, the guy talking about that she's a mom, right? Carol, you're a mom. And she's like, I used to be. It's like, no, Carol. And see, he chose the wrong words. She's not a mom. She's a mother. And that's what Carol is. You know what I mean? She's a mother. That's the reason she has this protective eye over the group, to where she doesn't just run off and never come back. The reason she came back to the prison, she's a mother, and that's her flock over there. You know? But what about Abraham and...
dude.
Oh my God, dude! Abraham is cold as a motherfucker.
Man, that's the coolest breakup in history. I mean, guys, take note. He broke up like a man. He said straight, "I'm making a call. I'm doing this."
Yep.
And the thing was, like, he said, the reason why he broke up. You want to know? I'll tell you. I thought you were the last woman.
And you're not.
And you're exactly. Oh my God! How can you recover from that? And the thing is, I'm not trying to be a dick a little bit, but at least the man's being honest.
Yeah,
you know, he ain't trying to cheat.
He's being honest.
Trying to cheat on you. All right. And the thing is, and if you're not happy, if he's not happy with you, why are you getting upset that he's breaking up with you? At least he's fucking. Come on. You may think everything's okay, but obviously it wasn't. He wasn't
right.
happy.
Would you rather him stick around lying? Would you rather him not have his share of true feelings with you? Would that have been better? You know.
Yeah. He's clearly saying there's someone else that he's interested in. He said, "You're not
absolutely."
The last one. And he wants someone else. And you can tell he has jungle fever, big time. Jungle fever is a stone.
Dude, he's got malaria. He's got so much jungle fever. This dude,
he has malaria.
Yeah, he's straight up with malaria. But Eugene, right on point with the cookie. Here you go. I brought you a cookie. These are real good.
Yeah, I got something else for you. Want me?
Yeah, I got a cookie and a donut for you.
You are aware that I'm well equipped in the position for sex. I mean,
staring behind the bookcase isn't all I'm capable of.
Yeah. I'm quite competent in the many positions or that will satisfy the woman. You can hear him talking that way, but now's not the time. But the thing is, like, I had much respect for Abraham because he was just cold to the point, and I'm getting the hell out of here now. Deal with it. I'm sorry. He didn't even say I'm sorry. He just said it's over, pretty much.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't remember saying good luck. He was done. He was just, we're done with it. It ain't nothing. It ain't nothing personal because it's nothing personal. He just got up and walked out the door.
And I really feel that a lot of ladies in a relationship, they feel the other one should break up the relationship. I've been with women that I insinuated. I mean, I said I'm breaking us up. Went ape shit. They went fucking nuts. Like, how dare you break up with me? Easy, I just did. Yep. You know, but yeah, they will go ape shit. And she did exactly what I would expect. She got upset. Like, why? I thought everything's okay. Well, there's your first problem.
Nah, I broke up with a chick one time, and then I heard from all my friends how she broke up with me. I was like, whatever, I don't even care.
Yeah, because they can't. They don't want anybody to imagine that. I look. How could he break up? It's just the fact that you broke up before she had it. I should have broke up because it was like my ex. She was trying to get back to me so she could break up with me. And like, I'm not falling for this stuff. I know she was upset. Like, how dare? I mean, I'm not saying I'm the sexiest guy. I am kind of, but my ex-girlfriend, she was really freaking hot, and how could I break up with her?
Hey, they don't call you the chocolate tsunami for nothing.
Nothing. Exactly, right, people. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
But everybody was making peace. You know, they had Tara and not a doctor. Like, everybody's making their peace just in case we don't come back from this, because I don't know what's going to happen. But what do you think with Tara? What do you think on hers? I think she made a mistake by not coming clean with not a doctor. Not so much for the relationship, but I think that they're just kind of beyond that stuff. Like, I don't think she needed to lie. She could have said, look, the way I met this group was because I was part of a group assaulting them. Mm-hmm. You know, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't go through with it because it was wrong. And now here I am with this group that I trust, and we're going to go do the same thing. I still feel it's wrong. That's the way she should have handled it.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're right. She's gone through before. And
it didn't work out at all.
and the governor made it sound like we have to do this, and it was no different than freaking Rick saying the same thing.
No different at all. Exactly right.
Yeah, so
you know, and that's the thing is you have to be prepared. Especially you saw Father Gabriel, you saw Glenn. Everybody was getting ready to do their first kill. The ones who haven't taken a life yet.
Well, I tell you what, man, I had to say I would love to get a poster of Father with the gun, like he came out of the truck. holding that rifle, automatic rifle. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was badass, and I loved the little psalms that he was giving to the dude before he went and killed him. You know, I thought that was really intense.
Yeah.
You know, I am here to take your life. That's what my purpose. You know, I'm on my God's mission.
And I said amen at the same time he did, which was funny. Like I knew he was going to say that, so I said it with him. Like,
yeah.
Amen. Amen.
But I loved when Glenn is talking to what's his name, Kyle, I think, the black dude from the group from
Yeah,
Alexandria. I think his name's Kyle, and he was talking to him about that life, taking a life to him is worse than watching Noah get torn apart. And oh boy, the both of them are up there on the scale. Yeah, taking a life is bad, but watching your friend get torn up, this dude that, you know, was helping your group, he was a cool guy, he had potential, and you see him ripped to shreds, man, just shreds in front of you. How do you find something worse than that? Well, Glenn found it because the first life he had to take was a sleeping man.
Yes.
Oh, that's harsh right there. That is hardcore, man. The second one was easier.
Yeah, I think killing somebody who's asleep is definitely
That is uncool. Like, and obviously there's nothing they could do. What are you gonna do? Let him wake up and have the drop on you? We saw what happened when that one dude woke up. You know, he notified those that are watching. But the thing is that those who are watching had to already know what was going on, which means they left those dudes in the compound to die. You know, because they didn't get all that organized. They didn't get out and get Carol and Maggie like that fast. They had to know before that alarm sounded.
You think so? How would they know that? I mean,
They had to have somebody scoping it. They had to have somebody scoping it and had a runner quick get back to them, tell them what's going on, and they got around to Maggie and Carol. They had to know. They had to. That's my belief. I don't know for sure, but that's my belief.
Yeah, but I tell you what, though, a great attack. I mean, a great action scene, not action, but just an assault on there. They were handling business. Mm-hmm. They were going there and taking them out. They did. And
even as one of the guys from the hilltop, where they're like, you know, these saviors and everybody, they're scary, but they ain't got shit on Rick. That dude was,
I know he said punching a freaking
a severed head. He just starts socking it in the face, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you know this, but one of those heads was based off of Johnny Depp.
Oh, was it?
It was a model mole that they got from, not from Johnny Depp, but it was a mole that was of Johnny Depp, and they used it in the movie, in the show. You can see it. You can see it on a still shot of that scene.
That's funny.
And you can see the one on the far right looks like Johnny Depp. Big time.
Well, see, and that makes sense because they hired Johnny Depp to play the kid in the Fear of the Walking Dead, so it's only natural that they would have him in this one too.
Yep.
Oh, wouldn't that be funny if his severed head was actually Nick from the other show? Like somehow he made his way east, turned into a zombie, and then they killed him and cut his head off.
That would be funny.
I would love that. That would make watching Fear of the Walking Dead worthwhile. You hear? I hope you guys are listening out there because that's what we're looking for.
This is writing gold, people.
This is writing gold. You should be paying us for this.
As a matter of fact, make sure you copyright this.
Speaking of that, though, you know, Jesus telling Tara that she knows what she's fighting for. I don't know, man. That's a little bit manipulative. I know he was part of the group. I know he was part of what they were doing. It just sounded very manipulative. Oh, you know what you're fighting for.
No, well, maybe.
I don't know, man. Because Tara was saying she couldn't do it. Like she told Jesus what she couldn't tell her lover, not a doctor. You know, that she was part of an assault and that it wasn't something she was comfortable with. And here she is again. And she's like, but I didn't know why I was out there. He's like, well, you care about these people, right? So you know why you're out there. But like we said, go back to that first time. She had her, I don't know if it was her sister or her friend from the apartment building. You know, she was there. There was people she was fighting for. Those people around her she did care about. You know, just because the governor was crazy, didn't have anything on the other people. So she knew what she was fighting for then, and she wasn't cool with it, you know.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So anything else that really popped out in this episode that struck your interest? Like, I would say it was the best episode. It was it's definitely a setup.
I like the idea that they were that they were just kind of taking their group to a new level. Like originally, they've never been the assaulting team. They've never been the aggressors. Even back when they went to Woodbury and they had to deal with those guys, they were still never the aggressors. They never instigated anything. If Woodbury would have left them alone, they would have left Woodbury alone.
Yeah.
Now, here's the first time in this story where they're like, it doesn't matter what they do. We don't even need them to make the first move. We're going to get them right now.
Because eventually they will find us, and we will have to deal with them. And I think that
Which,
was
again,
very
is what the
selling.
governor said about the prison. We have to do it, or they're sooner or later going to come for us.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yep.
It's cool full circle, and now
Yep.
it seems justifiable that. And if you just look at it from the Savior's point of view, Rick's group has been very aggressive from the jump.
Yep. From the time that they got to Alexandria, they have been extremely aggressive.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be coming. Now, here we go again. No Negan in this episode, but
I
his
didn't
presence-
expect him this episode. We've got 4 episodes to go, and I really don't expect that every episode they're going to be like, Negan's coming. No, Negan's coming. No. I know we said he's coming, but he's really coming.
No, I'm not saying that's what I'm trying to get at, but I tell you this here: his presence is there. What these moves that being made, like this whole attack, you're right. He orchestrated for them to draw him in. He could have got a heads up from the hilltop. We don't know who's really
That's the
good
thing,
on
yeah.
that side.
We don't know what's going on, absolutely.
Yeah,
And that's another thing, too, is that Rick seemed really overly eager. Now, I understand they need food and stuff, but he was overly eager to do this town's bidding, this hilltop group's bidding. You know, without any questions, I saw some dude come in and get violent, but come on, that's the flavor of the day for this world.
Well, that goes to the whole thing that is the confidence that I can deal with this. I dealt with all this other stuff in the past. This is nothing. And plus they're downplaying that it's not. There's a bunch of like a biker gang or something. There's a bunch of
But what I'm saying is beyond that. I understand that they're like, no, this is nothing. We can deal with it. But Rick's never been one to deal with something unless he really had to. And now, at the whim of this guy saying, hey, look, you guys got to handle these. You guys look like you can handle yourselves. You should go and take care of these dudes. And Rick's like, okay, I'm on board. And it's a very uncharacteristic twist for Rick. Like, they didn't build up to him getting to that point like they did all the other points that he's got to.
Well, I think he's that way because of the previous seasons that he waited and see what's going to happen. But now, like, fuck that. I'm not.
But he's never gone in blindly and said, well, these guys, somebody told me they were violent, so I'm just going to believe they're violent. Like, that's not in Rick's nature. And that's the thing I'm saying. They're actually changing the voice of his character. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It might actually come out to be a very interesting development. But it turned on a dime.
Well, that's my whole point. Because all the other times he's not taking any chances. He's, you know what? I got a good thing going here at Alexandria. There's a threat. Let's deal with it because I don't want to get bigger and escalate. So that's why.
But you're going back to
more
the same thing. He doesn't know they're a threat. He's taking somebody else's word for it. Somebody.
Well, he
that
did see a threat. He saw them come.
No. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't really know anything. He knows the little gang that was out on the road that Abraham and Sasha and Daryl dealt with. He knows what he saw at the hilltop, which could have been very easily staged if they had some dude that was all whacked out in the first place. It wouldn't have been hard to stage that whole scene. And they really didn't know Rick was going to go fatal like that on him anyway. You know what I mean? So nobody really knew what was happening. And so Rick, without knowing these people, without having any trust built with them, he's literally taken their word that he needs to go wipe somebody out. And that's what I mean. That's just not the way he is.
Well, let's look at the first dealing with the saviors. Is with
Daryl,
Daryl-
Sasha, and Abraham.
yeah. Okay. Now they made themselves very clear that they were about to get killed by it. It wasn't for the rocket launcher. Okay?
But again,
So-
those guys on the bikes never actually did anything. Yeah, they talked tough, they acted tough, but they never fired a shot and they never actually harmed anybody. And I'm not saying that Daryl and the guys shouldn't have defended themselves for what was happening. But again, to get to the point where you're like, yeah, I'm going to make a full assault on some people that we don't know anything about, and I'm just going to take some other people's word that they're very dangerous, it's just uncharacteristic of Rick. That's not the way he's operated so far. And again, like they didn't build up to it. It wasn't like this happened, that happened, boom, now he's where he's at. He literally went from 0 to 60 in one episode. And that's what I'm talking about. I just don't, and again, I don't think it's bad necessarily, but I'm really interested in what they do with it, and I hope that they use it as a developmental opportunity for his character.
That's a possibility. That's a very good possibility.
Yeah, because it's just not like him to go in guns blazing without knowing anything. Rick is a
this
very
episode,
methodical person. You know, he understands the business of being a cop. It's not just about having the courage to do what's necessary at the time, but it's having the forethought of being able to be tactical about it. And there was a few mistakes that they made really badly, and maybe that's part of his rushing into it. The fact that he left Carol and Maggie out by the trucks, like they didn't need to be there. You know, he literally left somebody to be taken to be used as ransom. I think he made a lot of mistakes in this episode, so we're going to see on that one.
So this next episode, do you think it'll be a flashback? Well, they have to, because like you said earlier, they didn't take them. So we have to see how they got taken.
Well,
so
not necessarily a flashback, but it might start at the point where they're coming to get Carol and Maggie. But maybe not. Maybe we'll never see that. You know, and maybe they'll just start with them already captured. You know, the Walking Dead has a tendency to do that. So we might never see how they got took.
Is it necessary to see how they got taken?
It's not necessary. I really myself would like to see it. Now, whether or not they do it, that has no bearing on my fandom. But I'm just curious. It's because it just doesn't seem like they could just walk up and take Carol and Maggie. Both of those are formidable opponents. They don't give up easily. They're not intimidated easily. You know what I mean? So something really had to happen where they got took.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're gonna find out. I think I would like to see them get taken out because they're such badass. Because, like I said, man, I'm afraid of Carol at all times. So whoever got a drop on that, Carol, could have been no, because Jesus was inside the building with them, right?
Right, he went in with them, and I don't think it was anybody from the hilltop. I honestly think that it was somebody from the Saviors that came in and got them, and it probably wasn't Negan, because I don't think he's gonna. From what I understand of the character so far, I don't think he puts himself in harm's way. You know, for one thing, he wasn't at their little outpost, you know. So he doesn't put himself in bad spots. Mm-hmm. He understands, okay, we're going to put this here, and everybody's going to do business when we have to deal with the hilltop and stuff. This is the place they're going to know. And that way, if somebody comes to mess with us, we're back here. Let those guys go, and we'll be back here.
You got a point there.
You know?
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. You know, this is really the I guess, would be the decoy of the real location of all their shit. So,
absolutely. Yeah. It's the kind of the warning. It's the tripwire for the other location. Mm-hmm. You know, something happens here, and holy crap. And that's why that guy was able to set off that alarm and notifies the next camp that, hey, man, there's something's happening. You better know about this.
Yeah, because walkie-talkies. So what did he say before he busted out of there on a motorcycle?
Yep.
But they should have cleared every room.
Totally.
I mean, they should have totally cleared every room.
And you would think with Rick's group at this point, that would be the one thing they'd be skilled at, you know.
You would think they would, wouldn't you? You would think at this point that would not be an issue. They should just go ahead. We got to make sure every room's cleared. There's nobody left behind. And matter of fact, I think maybe that was Carol and Maggie's position. Maybe nobody got away. Maybe
could have been.
It's a possibility.
You know, if they run down to the road, you'll be here waiting for them.
Exactly. So that could have been what happened. That's why I got the drop on. But I think everything went downhill once the alarm went off. Because you're right. At that point, the other camp, if there's another camp close by, was able to jump in there and handle business.
Yep.
You know, so.
But I'm interested in how they got down there so quietly, so quickly. That's again, there's so much that sounds interesting about what might have happened that I do kind of want to see it. But no, like you said, is it necessary? No, it's wasted 10 minutes of TV. They don't really need to show me anything. I get it, you know. And I'd like to see him, let him move in. Let him jump in right into the next part of the story so we can get to Negan, you know, that much quicker before the last episode to prove you wrong.
Mm-hmm. Well, all I know that you people
out there, send us money.
What you're going to get from this season is that it's a build-up, or going to be one of the biggest seasons is going to be season 7.
Season 7 is going to be off the chain. Like right now, I love what they're doing. It's really funny because I have a friend that I work with, and he was telling me that he was a little bored by the first 2 episodes of this season, the first 3 episodes of this season.
What?
Well, they were slow. You know how it is. A lot of people want nonstop zombies. For me, I've already seen that movie. It was called Undead. It was filmed in Australia, and it sucks because there's no story in there. There's nothing to care about. You just see people killing zombies. It gets boring after a while.
That's crazy.
You know?
The very first episode is one of the baddest scenes of dealing with zombies. I mean, they just went all out. I mean, freaking.
No, absolutely, and they finished it up, but then they slowed it. Then they literally hit the brakes. They dropped it into low gear for the next few episodes, and that's what I meant. I didn't mean the one that was wrapping up last season at the very beginning. But then they slowed it down. He's like, "Oh, these are so boring. These are so boring." Is what I kept hearing, and I didn't get a chance to ask him today, but I really want to know. It's like, now do you understand why they slowed down? Because this wouldn't have had that impact if they rushed right into it.
And that's where you separate real fans and those who just like horror movies and zombie movies. They expect every episode to be a mini version of Night of the Living Dead. You know, but like the whole idea is that kill zombies but fear humans or fear people, and that's the whole point of this series, is that the zombies is not the problem. They're like mosquitoes at this point. Yeah, you get taken out pretty quickly if there's too many of them, but your real problem are the people who are alive.
Yep.
The ones that are living without law. You know, and that's the scary part, because in this world, man, there's no police, there's no military. You're on your own.
Nope.
You know, you can't even sleep at night, as you can see.
The only cop in this world is Rick, and he's already done taking off the badge.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, plus you get, you know, it's a different world, people.
Yep,
A
it
new
is a
world.
completely different world, and we're looking forward to next week for a new episode. And I cannot tell you how much I really want to see where they go from here. This season has been shaping up to be so good that I cannot imagine what's coming in the next 4 episodes or how intense it's going to be. So I'm really looking forward to this.
It's turned out to be, I'm sure, repeat myself again, it's one of the best seasons to date.
Yep.
I mean, season 6 is turning out to be, like they said, because they did hype it up. It's gonna be one of the craziest seasons. It's gonna be just full of action. It's gonna be, it's well written. You're gonna love it. And so far, they've been delivering every episode. And I can't find one episode where like, that was kind of a waste of time. Mm-hmm. Maybe the Morgan one could have been.
Yeah, I would have rather seen a Carol one. Absolutely.
Carol would have been awesome. They could have done, they could have done a double feature or half. Yeah, they could have done that.
Yep.
And I think it's too late to do a Carol story, what she did. I don't think it's too late. That should have done in season 4.
No, it would have been done already. It's way too late for that. But again, I would still love to see a Carol around Woodbury episode, or not Woodbury, but around, Carol around Alexandria episode. Something to kind of show her. But even that, I think, is too late at this point. But I would have loved to have kind of seen her progression from, kind of weaving stealthily throughout that community. And finding out the things that she learned. We missed a lot of that because they didn't need to show it, and it probably wouldn't be that exciting. But man, I just love seeing anything Carol does. She's such an interesting character.
Yeah, definitely a stretch from the comic book, but she's turned out to be one of my favorite characters, up there with Daryl and Rick.
Yep.
Michonne, I'm cool with it, but I'm glad. Oh, I'm so glad I mentioned it. Great. I'm so happy that they're not really going down that path of Rick and Michonne are a couple at this point, because they're taking care of business.
Right.
I hope they keep it this way, because they messed around and all that kind of stuff, but they're not acting like, oh, is she okay or he okay? They're not. They're taking care of business, and maybe afterward they can show a little affection. But I kind of like what they're doing right now.
Yep.
You think a hint of they're in a relationship in this episode? They're there to take care of business.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's one of the things. The reason why relationships with people that you work with never work out is that one of the two of them, sometimes it's the man, sometimes it's the woman, cannot drop that shit when they get to the job. You know what I mean? Like, they forget that there's a time for it and a time when you got to turn it off. And that's what I love about Rick and Michonne, is they understand, no, we'll deal with that another time. Right now, we need to back the fuck off. We need to handle business, and we'll deal with this, and everything else will happen after that. And that's how they're doing it. Mm-hmm. They're very real in this world.
Yeah. The realistic couple of all of them. But,
yep.
We'll see.
Yep.
Now, you touched a little bit on Glenn's situation here,
mm-hmm.
of dealing with killing these people.
His first human kill.
Yeah.
Ever.
And so, will that play? Do you think this is going to affect him with his relationship with Rick at this point? Because maybe he wasn't really into this idea, but he's going to follow Rick to the end. Sounds like that's what I'm getting from him.
Yeah, I think so. But I think that this actually might be a problem that he ends up having with Maggie. Like, I don't know if he's going to know how to process this very well. And if we remember from the prison, Maggie had a problem where she wasn't able to deal with him very well. And I think that there may be some tension coming up here, which would make sense, And especially think about if they had some falling out and then all of a sudden one of the two of them died, whoever was left would have like this ridiculous guilt thing going on. So there's a lot that can be done with this. So we will see.
Definitely. The time will tell.
Yep.
All right, well, people, again, another great episode. You got any comments or anything you want to know about this show that we may be able to answer those questions? I know a little bit more about the comic book. Ross is the type of person who's just doing it based off the series alone.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see it raw. And I do have to say, I was walking by a television the other day, and all of a sudden I hear the news reporter, the field reporter says, "I'm Melissa McBride for KTLA 7 or whatever channel it was." But I heard Melissa McBride, and I turned to look, and I screamed out. I couldn't even help it. I blurred out in front of all these strangers, "You're not Carol!" Everybody looked at me weird, and I just, like I normally do, I smiled and walked on.
It's cool, though.
So, yeah, you can find me, people out there. I am Ross. I'm Punctual Pothead on Twitter over there.
You can find me at Tony_Lamar. Just look for me, people. I'm out there.
He's all over the place. Was in Roswell a few weeks ago.
I was. That was a great show, people. Roswell was awesome.
You got anything coming up?
Actually, my next big show is not going to be till Denver next year. I do have the Funniest Person in Austin contest coming up shortly. But, yeah.
So, yeah, if you're out there in Austin, get out to the Funniest Person in Austin. What's the date of that? Do you know?
No, it's not been.
It's not been dated yet? Well, keep an ear out for it. We'll be talking about it on the show. Go out there and support Tony, man. He definitely is a funny comic. You will enjoy his show, and voting for him makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yes. And what about you? What do you got coming up next?
I'm not really doing anything. I gotta go work tomorrow, and no, but I actually have a photo shoot coming up on the 2nd. I'm going to be doing a photo shoot for a baby, which should be very interesting. My first one of those ever.
Are you allowed to be near children?
Not in a schoolyard or park, but this is a private home, so it's cool. They don't know anything about it, and I'm not telling them anything about it, so it's cool. So, and then I'm going to actually do the same family at the end of April. I'm going to actually be doing their what is it called? The baptism. So wish me luck walking into a church. We'll see if I burst into flames. You'll know. I'll post photos.
And make sure you go to a baptism. Make sure you go to the part where you bless yourself, the little cup they have in the entrance. Make sure you wash your face.
My face? I was going to wash my dick in it.
Well, hey.
Hey, everybody's got a flavor, right?
Yeah, there you go. You go ahead and do that, people. You go ahead and do that. All right, we'll catch you next time, and thanks for hanging out.